There's an old phrase that says, behind every successful man, there's a strong woman. Well, our successful man has a team, huge team, right, ladies, of strong women behind him. I would like to introduce two of these wonderful women. Please welcome Mayor Boyles' wife, Lee, and his mom, Valerie Smith.
Well, if you know Drew, you know you need to be concise. And I've worked for him, and you have to be concise. So to be concise, I need to read this introduction of him. Drew had a challenging childhood, which I think motivated him to be a better person and very successful in his life. He enlisted in the Navy at 17 and completed his bachelor's degree while working on the top gun plane, the F-14, at Miramar Base. After that, he went to Brunswick Corporation in their management program as a very young man. And when his bowling center, Granada Lanes, was destroyed by the earthquake in 1992, he had the task of letting 25 people go. Pretty hard task for a young man. He moved to El Segundo in 1995 as a single dad and got his MBA at USC. Facing many economic challenges over the years, he has accomplished great success in his businesses, including the introduction of the first residential hazardous waste company in California. I'm so happy that I moved here 8 years ago. Now I get a little emotional. And I'm watching him challenge himself every day in his work, his health, and doing the best for El Segundo. It's almost ridiculous to say I'm proud of him, because I'm more than proud of him. I'm thrilled to be the mom of this terrific man.
I, too, am going to read my speech, because after they told me I was coming up after Kelsey Chittick, I wadded that speech up, started over last night in my closet, and wrote it in 10 minutes. So, now that we've heard the fluffy stuff and the nice stuff about Drew Boyles, leave the wife to bring the dirt. Many of you know that what Drew is like as the mayor, but not so much like what he's like at home. Drew is quite quirky. And his motto is, weird is good. Some of his quirks. He hates the responses, no problem. What do you mean there's a problem? Who said there's a problem? I hate that. To be honest with you. Well, I sure hope they're being honest with me. Why would they say that? Who's questioning honesty? He strips off his shirt and shoes whenever possible to soak up UV rays and ground himself to the earth. He chants, yes, 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 to get himself hyped up for challenging events. I'm sure he did it this morning. Drew is into biohacking and takes dozens of supplements each day. I'm sure it's like 357 tablets, a couple serums, and some shots, and I'm not sure what else. He listens to strange podcasts sped up to at least 1.5 speed, which, if you do that, I think your brain's running at a speed that humans don't understand, because it sounds like mice. I'm in the car with him, he's listening to a podcast, and it's like, and I look at him, I'm like, are you just showing off, or can you really understand that? Super annoying. He tapes his mouth shut while sleeping in order to get more oxygen to his brain. Brushes his teeth with his eyes closed, standing on one foot to strengthen his balance. He dons a red laser beam headlamp to trace patterns on the wall to improve his vision. Drew plans to live to be 130. That's his number. We roll our eyes, we tell him he's weird, and he says, weird is good. All these quirks, I believe, are indicators that Drew is innovative, different, dedicated, open to new ideas, and always learning. But most of all, he loves life, is not afraid of being judged, and can laugh at himself. All traits of a successful mayor. Why does he want to live to 130 years old, you may ask? I believe he has so much to change and make better in this world. With as much as he accomplishes in a day, just think what he can do in 78 years. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome my weird and wonderful husband, the Mayor Drew Boyles.
That was nice. Thank you, Mom. Oh, thank you, dear.
Can you show him how you stand on one leg?
Yes! 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 You feel me? Am I on? Yes, I'm on. Okay. It works. If you haven't walked over burning hot coals like Tony Robbins' seminar, I highly recommend you try it. And that's what you do to get yourself stoked up to be able to do that. I'm not even making that up. Man. Well, the good news is I was just talking to Mattel, Corinne's here, and it's great to see everybody back in the offices. I know everybody's back full time. The city's embracing a minimum 4-day work week for all employers in El Segundo. We can't wait to have you all here 4 days a week minimum. I'm kidding, of course. It is really great. We were concerned because we had such a huge attendance. We were worried that people would show up, so thank you very much for being here. Isn't it great to be out of the house? That wasn't very convincing. Okay, March 13th, 2020. Anyone know the significance?
Last day of the city.
It was close. It was almost the last day of the city. It was D-Day for LA County. That's when everything shut down for the pandemic. That Friday, the 13th in March of 2020. 2 days prior, we had the city council in the morning of the previous city manager called, as did Mark Hensley, our city attorney, and said, Drew, we ought to cancel this event. Have you been following the news? Yeah, I've been following the news. Didn't Chevron donate huge tubs of hand sanitizer? And they did. You remember, Jeff? You had huge tubs at every table. We were counting the days, the 14 days. We got to March 25th. We were so thankful that no one got sick, and we had a great event. It was like this. It was at an unoccupied floor of a building on Aviation. It was a great event. So what's happened? 2.5 years. Can you believe it's been 2.5 years? A lot's happened. The city of El Segundo was the first to establish and stand up the All Hazards Incident Management Team. If you're not familiar with that AHIMT acronym or concept, it's a joint department function. It's government, military thing to bring everyone together to do what we can to prepare our city for what was coming, which was the pandemic. We're also the first to provide our residents daily updates through El Segundo TV. Every day, where are we at with the pandemic? How many people have it? Unfortunately, how many people have passed? What's the capacity of the hospitals? We were the first to do that. And we were the first, we're very proud of this, to establish a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee right here in El Segundo. I'd like to say we're the most important 5 square miles economically in Southern California. And if you don't call me on it, Councilmember Armato, prove that we're not, and I'll tell you how we are. Here's a couple things. 1, 88 cities in LA County. Which city has the highest salary? El Segundo, $137,000 last reported on average. How many venture-backed firms are here in El Segundo? I'll tell you right now. Over 100 VC-backed firms in El Segundo in 2021, raising collectively almost $1 billion. By the way, we're 2 square miles commercial right here. This town is 2 square miles the refinery, 1 square mile residential, 2 square miles commercial sector. So that's $500 million invested per square mile in this city right here from VCs. Now, today's presentation, you're going to hear from my colleagues on the council, revolves around 5 important goals related to our strategic plan. That's something that we put in place years ago. The goals haven't fundamentally changed, these 5 goals, but the action steps have, and the way that we measure them have. So we're going to cover that today. We've also made great strides. I want to thank Joe Lilio, our CFO, and the city manager, and everyone on council, the pension committee, Councilman Nickel, Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel, Dr. Don Brand, and myself previously. We worked really hard on the pension, and the good news is we're going to save over $120 million over 20 years for this city by way of a pension obligation bond, pension trust fund, and other taxes we've taken to improve pensions, including having our employees help pay. In the past, they weren't paying for pensions, at least several groups. And the Treasury Department has grown from $90 million to $120 million since 2016. So Matthew Robinson and Krista Binder, who now works for the City of LA, thank you. Great job with your leadership. I just realized I'm driving the presentation here. So we've had some incredibly groundbreaking openings in the past year. We talked about Topgolf, $50 million. I just asked Topgolf today, how are we doing versus Las Vegas? Because we're pretty competitive in El Segundo. Vegas is a great facility for them. We're neck and neck with Las Vegas right here, if you can believe that. Great job, everybody that fought for that. Only took a decade to get it done, and we're so happy it's there. The Chargers, where are the Chargers? Are they here? Chargers broke ground. $100 million headquarters. We're so happy to have them here in town. And most recently, L'Oreal, where are you at? I just met the CEO, Carol Hamilton. They have incredible business at 888 Douglas. They just opened their West Coast headquarters. Do you know L'Oreal has 18 brands underneath that company? Phenomenal company, and we're so excited to have them. Now, I'm going to introduce some people. This will take about 30 minutes to introduce all the elected officials. I apologize, okay? No, not really. But I'm going to go through these. If you could please stand and acknowledge the crowd, and thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Council, we've got State Senator Ben Allen. Thank you, Ben. Assemblymember Al Marisucci. Thank you, Al. Is former Assemblymember Autumn Burke here? No. Okay, we had her on the list. How about former El Segundo mayors Sandy Jacob and Carl Jacobson? Thank you very much. Inglewood Mayor Jim Butts, my good friend. Doing amazing things in Inglewood. Torrance Mayor George Chen, newly elected. Congratulations, George. We're always competing with Torrance for the aerospace companies, aren't we, George? Hermosa Beach Mayor Mike DeToy. Are you here, Mike? Mike's not here? Okay, we're going to move on. Rolling Hills Estates Mayor Pro Tem Britt Huff, who's also the newly elected League of Cities Division LA rep. Thank you, Britt. And Richard Montgomery, is he here, Manhattan Beach? He was afraid of a little competition. We're going to give him a pass. All right, also we have Hermosa Beach City Council Member Stacey Armato. Is Justin here? Hey, Justin Massey, Hermosa Beach City Councilman. An avid surfer and environmental lawyer. Carson Council Member Cedric Hicks, thank you for being here. Cedric is the first vice chair for the South Bay City Council of Governments. He'll be in office right after John Cruikshank, who's also here. Rolling Hills Estates Council Member Velvet Schmitz. Where's Velvet? Thank you for being here. Rancho Palos Verdes Council Member and El Segundo's born and raised, John Cruikshank. I don't know why he's living on the hill. I don't know why you'd make that decision. I mean, why would you leave here? Torrance Council Member John Kajee. John, where are you at? Thank you for being here. Fight on. And then representing Ted Lieu, we have Karen Calderon. Karen, thank you for being here. Representing Supervisor Holly Mitchell, Jesselyn Waldron, thank you for being here. We also have the school board represented here. So we've got the president of the school board, Tracy Miller-Zarnicki, right over here. We've got board member Emily Lane. Thank you, Emily. Board member Paulette Caudell. Thank you for being here. Is Mike Wagner here? Board member Mike Wagner? Usually you can hear Mike from here. He's not here? Okay, no, if you know Mike, you know that. And then we've got Superintendent of the School District, Dr. Melissa Moore. Thank you for being here. And by the way, top 2%, I should say, top 2% of high schools in the U.S. That's phenomenal. And then we have Wiseburn Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Blake Silvers. Blake, are you here? Thank you for being here, yes. And we're getting close to the end here. Jackie Bacharach, she is the Executive Director of South Bay City Council of Governments and former council member herself. Thank you for being here. Oh, Daima. Daima's not, Daima, how could I miss you? Daima Wheaton, board member. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Councilman Nickel. Okay, we also have Commander of Space Base Delta 3, Colonel Mia Walsh, who I just had the great fortune of meeting. Thank you for being here. We love our relationship with the base. We have Miss Sam Cox, Deputy Director of Space Base District 3, or Delta 3. Thank you for being here. Chief Master Sergeant Willie Frazier. Nope, okay. Yeah. Oh, he is here. Yes, yes, round of applause. Thank you. Moving on to El Camino College, we have the President, Dr. Brenda Thames. Brenda, where are you? Thank you for being here. And we have West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Director member Scott Houston. Where are you at, Scott? Thank you, sir. All right, we also are very fortunate to have our entire city council here. Mayor Pro Tem Chris Pimentel, where are you, sir? Chris, right there in the back. Thank you, Chris, for being here. Council member Carol Perstuck. Thank you for being here, Carol. Council member Scott Nickel. Thank you, Scott. Council member Lance Giroux. Thank you, Lance. Is our city treasurer, Matt Robinson, here? He's doing a phenomenal job, working on our finances, I'm sure. Tracy Weaver, our elected city clerk, thank you for being here. Also got a born and raised. Thank you for being here. We have a new city manager. He's been with us now, what, 5 months, Daryl? 6 months, who's counting? Daryl George, longtime city manager with 16 years experience as a city manager. We actually got him to come out of retirement. He was here on a temporary basis. He loved us so much he decided to stay. And thank you, Daryl. We're glad you're here. Okay, department heads. Michael Allen is our Development Services Director, who we wooed away from Culver City. Where are you at, Mr. Allen? Thank you for being here. Jaime Bermudez, our own homegrown police chief right here. Thank you for being here. Jose Calderon, our IT Director. Dina Lee, first female fire chief in the South Bay, right here. Allie Mancini, Recreation Parks and Library, Legacy. Her mom actually worked for our city running Rexham Park. Rebecca Reddick, who does a long commute, HR Director, to be with us. Thank you. Elias Sassoon, Director of Public Works, been working really hard lately. Thank you, Elias. And Barbara Voss, our Deputy City Manager. Where is Barbara? So another quick introduction, we'll move on, which is this is an important one. Committee, commission, and board members, if you could please rise. These are all volunteers that help us in Planning Commission, Rexham Park, Library Board and Trustees, Arts and Culture Commission, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, the list goes on and on. If you're here, please stand. I know we've got some members here. Thank you for your service. Environmental Committee, Planning Commission. Thank you so much for everything you do. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to get into, basically, this. We're going to have some video snippets. So we're featuring every council member. So this is going to be me and then goal 1. Okay, so it's basically an overview of our 5 strategic goals, which is how we're structuring things today. And then we're going to talk about goal 1 specifically. We could roll the video, please.
Your city council is committed to the 5 key goals of the city's strategic plan, which focus on providing the highest level of service to the city's residents and to our businesses. First, enhance customer service, diversity, equity, inclusion, and communication. Secondly, support community safety and preparedness. Third, promote a quality workforce through teamwork and organizational efficiencies. Fourth, develop and maintain quality infrastructure and technology. And finally, champion economic development and fiscal sustainability.
I'm here at the UCLA Health Training Facility, home of the Lakers. And whether you're a world champion organization like the Lakers, a small business, a student, a retiree, a veteran, or just the backbone of this community that our involved members are, we want to make sure that you are valued and understand how critical you are to the success of this city. The City Council and the city staff are committed to providing excellent customer service and creating an environment that is inclusive and supportive for all members of the community. In 2020, the City Council listened and created a 9-member Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee to conduct important research and provide recommendations to the City Council to enhance initiatives throughout the city organization. We encourage two-way communications and better feedback to understand the needs of the community and guide long-term strategic decision-making for real-time, short-term solutions. Through our websites, social media platforms, community cable programming, emergency alerts direct to your phones, and public service announcements, the city delivers timely news and information to the community. Community engagement and proactive, transparent communications are critical to serve the community and increase overall awareness and understanding.
Tem. Can you guys hear me now? Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This just in from Chevron. I just got past the note. Hopefully it wasn't too obvious. The flaring that you mentioned, it's going away. Never again. They just said they've committed to. Just kidding, Jeff. In all seriousness, Mr. Wilson said, I forgot to introduce a great ally to us. He's the CEO of DWP. He's been really helpful. Marty Adams, where you at, Marty? Thank you, right in front of me. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I know we did an incredible thing with the mural, John Van Hemmersfield mural on the tank and your property, and there's a lot more exciting stuff to come, so thank you very much. We talked about the schools. They're incredible. Da Vinci's building robotics programs that are winning all kinds of awards and being featured in Disney movies. They actually have programs that put people into associate's degree programs if they spend a little bit of extra time at Da Vinci. Our high schools are setting up our kids for incredible futures. The future of our great city with biomed and business and other pathways. And so we're really excited about everything that's coming out of our schools. As a city, we're enhancing our communications across multiple channels. Since May of 2020, we've seen over 1.6 million page views to our website. Think about that. That's a big number. And we've grown our email database to over 21,000 people. Increased engagement across all social media channels with over 100,000 impressions just in last year. So great job to our media team. Now, anyone here in business familiar with the Net Promoter Score? Simple question. How likely are you to recommend this business? I know my team is, but how likely are you to recommend this business between 1 to 10? It could be BMW, Southwest Airlines, Chevron. A lot of companies use this. We brought that to our city about 4 or 5 years ago. And we've asked our people, our residents, and our businesses separately, how likely are you to rate El Segundo as a place to live or a place to do business? Guess what? Numbers are in. If you look at the slide here, it shows you we're in the top of our industry. To have a 55 for business and a 51, the number doesn't sound big. I can tell you, Apple is generally at a 65. Who doesn't love Apple? Anyone not love Apple? Okay, we're Droid users, Mom. Most people love Apple, right? You finally converted to Apple, right? Not yet. We're working on her. Anyway, we're doing incredibly well as a city from our business community and our residents. But it doesn't stop there with just the score. We take the qualitative comments and we use those to inform our strategic planning process every year. The city also recently announced its first poet laureate, Hope Anita Smith. She couldn't be here today, unfortunately, but we love what she's doing to build literacy and the arts through poetry in El Segundo. The Rex Park and Library brought us the new festival holidays. Kelsey talked about this. We celebrated diversity and different cultures and different religious beliefs right in City Hall. It was the first time we'd done it, and it was really well received by our community. And the LA Kings. We love them. They're great supporters of this city. They donated $75,000 to rebuild our roller hockey rink. So it's awesome. That's what we're doing on the community front and communications. Now let's hear from Council Member Carol Perstuck, who's going to share something about our public safety goal.
Greetings from the Toyota Sports Performance Center, home of the LA Kings for over 20 years. World-class athletes from all over the world train in this facility, and it's important that all visitors feel welcome and safe. The safety and well-being of the El Segundo community is the City Council's top priority. Our professional and dedicated public safety teams are committed to protecting the community, providing unparalleled service, and treating all people with dignity and respect. The El Segundo Police and Fire Departments are committed to organizational excellence and taking a strategic, forward-thinking, and innovative approach to public safety. Our continued investment in hiring, training, and technology, coupled with the hard work of our men and women in uniform, is what attracts families and businesses seeking a safe place to grow. El Segundo is proud to be a place where residents, businesses, and visitors feel safe and protected.
Very well done, Carol. Thank you. Just this year, related to public safety, we welcomed new Police Chief Jaime Bermudez. He's been part of our department, as I mentioned, for a long time, since 1992. Thank you for your leadership. We welcome 4 new police officers, a police assistant, and 4 new cadets. When you talk about public safety, you want to talk about the opportunities our police department and our fire are provided. Did you know that 17% of sworn police officers have been promoted since 2020? Did you know that we had 46 applications for lateral officers in 2022 alone? And did you know that we had 367 applications for police officer trainings in 2022? Clearly, people want to work in the city of El Segundo. Now, the police department's also been busy with a homeless outreach program. I've actually had the fortune about 5 years ago, I did a ride along with our police officer, at that time was Officer Lemus, and our mental health technician. We made 100 contacts with homeless people last year, and we led over 31 calls with our dedicated mental health clinician who is trained to deal with not just homeless issues, all mental health issues in the city of El Segundo. She spends a lot of time, though, working with the homeless, and I can tell you it is a long process. It takes many different touch points to get through to people and get them to believe and to want to have help, and our police department is doing an incredible job. The city council, by the way, our numbers, if you look at the graph, it's almost unbelievable. We're down 68% since 2020 in homeless, and that is LA County bona fide homeless count. They do it in every city in the South Bay. You guys got your numbers recently too. It doesn't, frankly, if I'm being honest, did I just say that, Lee? If I'm being honest, oh my gosh, no problem. Anyway, 2 things I hate most. It doesn't feel like it, but that's what the numbers suggest, and we're working really hard on that front. And we know it's a prime concern for our businesses and our residents, and we have compassion for people, and we want to get them solutions. The city council is very concerned about crime. Is crime insulated to El Segundo right now? Absolutely not. If you look around, crime is up statewide. Our numbers are actually really good. We have to report those numbers to the FBI, and our crimes are good relative to a lot of our peer cities. But the reality is that there have been changes to legislation and changes to public policy right here in LA County that have made it more difficult to prosecute. Is that true? Yes, indeed it is. We're working with District Attorney Gascon, and we have worked with him. We met with District Attorney Gascon, Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel, and I, Chief Bermudez, Daryl George, to get them to work with us on greater prosecution. It is a challenge right now. We had really good news in that Officer Christopher Eslinger, he couldn't be here, but he was recognized with the South Bay Medal of Valor Award for his heroic life-saving efforts. Even though he's not here, let's give him a round of applause, please. That is a very big deal. I've been to that event. It's a big deal. 20-year department veteran Chief Dina Lee made history. I mentioned she's the first female fire chief in the South Bay. We're so proud to have you here. Thank you very much. Now, she's been busy since she's been here. She started the first ever Fired Up Girls Empowerment Camp. I don't know if did anyone see it. It was cool. There were young ladies and girls. Yes, give her a round of applause. She was making it more accessible for a woman, a girl, a young lady, to be okay with being a firefighter, to realize that that's actually not outside the reach. She did it right here, I think, at Campus El Segundo. She had hoses that they were working. They were climbing ladders. Carol Perstick was up way too high, like 4 stories on a ladder. I wish I had been there. It was cool. And it got us a ton of press, and more importantly, it opened up the doors for people to consider firefighting. The fire department continues to work towards a very prestigious accreditation process that establishes 250 key performance indicators that they have to work towards. It's a lot of things to be involved with. That's been going on for quite some years and still in the works. And then when it comes to wanting to work for El Segundo Fire, another good stat for you, 23% of sworn firefighters have been promoted since 2020. That's 2 years, 23% promoted. We've hired 2 firefighters. We actually capped the applications at 150 because we would have several hundred more for the firefighter position if we didn't cap it. Once more, we'd like to thank our hardworking public safety officers that keep our community safe. Let's please give them a round of applause. Jim, is it something I said? That's a good. The Clippers are calling. The Clippers calling. I know. Thanks. But hang in there, buddy. Don't all leave. Okay. So next up, we're going to hear from Council Member Scott Nickel, and thanks for being here, Jim, to introduce our third goal. Scott.
I'm here at Brett Field, formerly known as Pine Field, at an El Segundo Little League All-Star practice. El Segundo Little League and other youth sports have been a long-standing tradition in our community and a model of teamwork, training, and commitment. At City Hall, we share these values and strive to attract, develop, and retain exceptional employees to provide quality programs and services to our community. City Council recognizes and celebrates the diverse backgrounds, unique perspectives, and important contributions of all city employees. We aim to be an employer of choice, and we encourage and support citywide efforts to provide opportunities for all employees to continue to be inspired and engaged.
Thank you, Scott. Another homegrown El Segundo leader. Several new initiatives have been in place when it relates to employer of choice and becoming one, related to health, wellness, and safety. We did a biometric event where we brought employees in to check on their health in conjunction with Kaiser. We had a wellness challenge against Manhattan Beach. Be sure to tell Richard we won. Could you guys share that with Richard Montgomery? Thank you. And we recently conducted an employee engagement survey, and we're working with each department, and that was just an anonymous survey that went out to all of our employees. How do you feel about working here, and what do we need to do better? And we're reviewing those results now. We had an employee appreciation day that honored those with years of service. Thank you to staff for everything you do to make this city such a great city. You know, superior services are not possible without quality infrastructure and technology. So next we're going to hear from Council Member Lance Giroux to talk about Goal 4.
I'm at the construction site of the new LA Chargers headquarters and practice facility. This is a great example of the type of world-class investment happening in El Segundo right now. The City Council is committed to providing first-class city services that will ensure that El Segundo continues to be a great place to live, work, and visit. We will accomplish this through both the utilization of technology and the investment in infrastructure. The city is implementing technology solutions across all departments to deliver secure, efficient, and convenient services to the community. We continue to invest in streets, parks, landscaping, and recreation facilities, and there are major infrastructure projects in the pipeline to improve connectivity. El Segundo is known for its high quality of life, and we take pride in providing outstanding service and maintaining the beauty and cleanliness of all public areas.
When it relates to infrastructure, one of the things we did recently, just I think it was last week or the week prior, we worked with the Rex Park Commission. We had a joint meeting. We just approved $5 million towards a new teen center, a much needed revamp of our skate park, basketball courts, ball fields, irrigation, lighting, and sports courts. That's $5 million. For a city like ours with an $80 million annual budget, general fund, that's a lot of money. And the fact is we have a lot ahead of us. We have about $60 million at last count of unfunded capital improvement projects, and we're working very hard to close the gap. One of the projects we're committed to is the Plunge. That is our incredible pool facility. Oh, we got an applause out of that. Great, first applause, love it. Keep it coming. No, just kidding. The Plunge came out of the New Deal after the Great Depression. Is one of our beautiful heritage properties right here in El Segundo. You can see it on the screen. We have $4.5 million committed towards the project. Thank you to Chevron for $500,000 of that, and the school district for $1 million of that. And we're working hard to close the gap and get that facility revamped and reopened. Public Works been busy. They resurfaced 2.4 miles of roads last year, constructed 600 linear feet of new sidewalk, and repaired 77 sidewalk locations. I want to talk about Hyperion very briefly. You heard Kelsey mention it. The reality is we had a pretty terrible spill 14 months ago. I'll never forget when Supervisor Hahn called me and to report the news. And we've had 1,100 odor-related complaints in 14 months. The Water Board has issued a notice of violation. AQMD has issued 13 notices of violation. And there have been 3 abatement orders, and still the odor problem persists. Basically, the residents, businesses, us on council, were fed up, and so we took action. Even before then, Elias Sassoon has been a real yeoman in this effort, was on an ad hoc committee. Shortly after the spill, they developed a list of 33 recommendations to make that plant safe. Unfortunately, a handful, is that accurate? Handful? 2 handfuls have been done of the 33 to date. So we decided to declare an emergency, as you heard, and also file a lawsuit against the city of LA. We didn't want to have to do that, but that's where we are now. We have to protect our residents and our businesses. So more to come on that, and we're looking forward to swift resolution. I want to thank Senator Ben Allen and Assemblymember Al Marisucci and Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office for being supportive and immediately garnering some resources for us. And I also want to say, is Corey Zuppo here? Corey, I don't know if you're here. thank you for everything you've done to bring this to our attention. She's a trained environmental engineer, so she used to work with AQMD. She happens to be a resident, and she's been very good to help us with that. Let's talk about environment really quick. We're now part of the California Green Business Network. The City Council also implemented a single-use plastic ordinance. Thank you, Tracy, for your leadership on the Environmental Committee. We improved the city's recycling program with Cal Recycle, and maintaining quality infrastructure is a critical component to attracting top employers. Bear with me, this is our last strategic goal. You do not want to miss this one. This is the exciting, sexy stuff about what's coming to El Segundo. So next up to talk about that, who more appropriate than myself to talk about Goal 5? I'm just kidding, I couldn't resist.
El Segundo is the most important 5 square miles economically in Southern California and was twice named the region's most business-friendly city. Even during the global pandemic, El Segundo continued to attract top talent and groundbreaking companies. New developments are constantly underway, and Topgolf El Segundo is a great example. The list of diverse businesses establishing their base in El Segundo continues to expand. From forward-looking startups and biotech giants to imaginative media and professional sports organizations, we're home to a diverse mix of exciting industries. El Segundo is still a hub for major aerospace companies, but we're also at the forefront of nurturing startups that are rapidly advancing space technology. Stimulating business growth in town is essential to long-term fiscal stability for El Segundo. City Council is determined to maintain a balanced budget while prudently building strong reserves for the future, so that the community will continue to receive the very best in services and programs.
So I touched on this earlier. Again, I want to thank Joe Lilio, CFO, and his department. We've saved over $120 million over the next 20 years. Thank you to the pension ad hoc committee members as well. Our general fund reserves are looking much better. We were at a structural deficit just a few years ago, a deep structural deficit. We are in a much better place. We still have a lot of room to go, and we're working on that, but it's a better picture now from a reserve standpoint. Also, treasuries, as I mentioned, look much better as well, with $120 million in treasury funds versus $90 million just in 2016. Anyone that's not on council, tell me what percent of El Segundo's revenue comes from business versus residents. Anyone? Throw out a number. What percent business versus resident? 98%. Something that we looked at back was on economic development with Richard Lundquist is what percent, and we look at all our revenue streams, 98% of this town's revenue comes from business. Why is that? Well, Prop 13, late 70s, they indexed all the 88 cities in LA County. El Segundo gets a very small percentage. Manhattan Beach gets about 15% of this pie, we get 6%. So it's incumbent upon us to continue to grow our economic base. We would not have our independent police, independent fire, independent public works, libraries, you name it, without our business community. And that is something that we know very well. So I was interviewing this guy recently, fascinating company called Varda Space Industries, and they're building manufacturing facilities in space. Now, I don't know how you get a business license tax out of a business when they're building in space, but Torrance is going to figure it out. Right, George? George is former aerospace. They're building manufacturing facilities in space. So I asked Will Brewy, I said, Will, I think you went to MIT, you're on the East Coast, you raised all this money, this VC funds. How'd you pick El Segundo? You came from the East Coast. He goes, oh, that was simple, Drew. I built an algorithm. I built an algorithm to scrape LinkedIn and look for the highest density of highly trained engineers per square mile on the West Coast. You think Silicon Valley came up first? Nope. El Segundo. There's over 800 PhDs at Aerospace Corp alone, right there, let alone what's on the base, let alone what's at Starburst Aero. Yes, let's give it up. We have the intellectual capital. We have the intellectual capital here. We continue to attract brilliant minds to El Segundo that are developing solutions in aerospace, defense, bioscience, and emerging technology now. Sorry, I'm trying to speed it up for you guys. We have 5 professional sports teams here. Lakers, Kings, Chargers, Giltinis, which are the Major League Rugby champions last year, and Premier Lacrosse League. Okay, we're very fortunate. We have 13 of LA's largest private and public companies based right here in El Segundo. And one of the ideas we recognized at council that we approve as part of our strategic plan, and I've already started talking to really influential people like Richard Lundquist, Dr. Patrick Soon-Chung, about an incubator, a public-private partnership here in El Segundo to focus more on the early, even Ben Allen, I talked to Al about this idea too. Building our emerging growth early stage companies here in El Segundo, and we can do that through this incubator. More to come on that. So we've worked really hard since the pandemic, Barbara and her team, with the Back to Business campaign. We are the only city in South Bay, this one blows my mind, with new office space and development. Think about that, the only city in the South Bay with new office developments in 2020. We were the only city in the South Bay that gained more rented office space than it lost. And we are the largest contributor to the South Bay's significant positive net absorption rate, which is a calculation of office occupancy. Moving on to TOT and the hotels. We love our hotels. We have quite a few of them here. The TOT tax, AKA hotel tax, took a hit during the pandemic like it did for many of you in your cities. And we launched a Reimagine, Reopen, and Rediscover campaign, which got us over 1 million people across social and digital medias. And we also launched a Super Bowl, with the Super Bowl right down the street, we launched the Die Hard Fans Start Here campaign, and we got over 181,000 social media impressions and 9,000 visits to our website just from that alone. Good news is TOT's recovering, our hotel tax is coming back, and really good news is we were just recognized again. We were nominated for a 3rd Business Friendly Award. We have to win that, but for the 3rd time, El Segundo is up for Most Business Friendly City. I want to thank Chevron for everything you've done for the last 8 years, totaling over $1.3 million to support economic development in El Segundo. Thank you for that. Let's give them an applause. And I want to thank you, PCT, Pacific Corporate Towers, and Artisan for hosting. This has been a fabulous event. Thank you to you all. Very much appreciated. Last time we hosted one of these at an empty floor, it got rented like that. Next day, literally. Lease was signed at the event. No. Okay, thank you to our sponsors. L'Oreal, one of the biggest cosmetic companies in the world, 18 brands in the portfolio, West Coast headquarters right here in El Segundo. Beyond Meat, changing the way protein is made and consumed. Born in El Segundo, growing in El Segundo. Blackstone owned, Blackstone Real Estate, thank you for being a sponsor. Boeing, largest builder of the airplanes in the world, right here in El Segundo. Kite Pharma, developing T-cell therapy for cancer treatment and changing the way cancer is hopefully addressed in the future. Aerospace Corporation, solving the Department of Defense's most complex science and technology challenges. And W Promote, an online marketing firm that my good friend Mike started in his Dartmouth dormitory and grew right here in El Segundo. Thank you. You can see all the sponsors there. Thank you for everything you've done to make this event great. Really appreciate it. Bear with me, we're moving on. New developments is next. We're going to hear from a couple business leader testimonials. That'll take 4 minutes, and then we're going to go right into new developments, and then we'll wrap it up.
I actually don't know if athletics has ever been anywhere other than El Segundo. The proximity to multiple parts of LA make this an attractive place to locate.
It's about a 25-minute commute, which is great if you talk to anyone in LA that commutes. I've actually taken advantage of the central aspect of El Segundo.
For any company, right, access to talent is the most important thing that we can think about, and this is a place that people want to live, but also proximity to places that people want to live. You can tap into like different employee pools from the South Bay, from West Side, etc. So it's really like a melting pot place for a lot of employee talent. Where you're located is everything about how you attract people to a company. There's amazing companies that we're surrounded by, and while it might be different industries, I mean, I've crossed industries, right? People can cross industries and take their function into a different industry, so the talent pool is amazing here.
My favorite thing about working in El Segundo is just that there is a myriad of things to do right around here. So we can go out with coworkers to great restaurants, we can go to the beach. Pre-pandemic, I was training for a half marathon, and so we would run all the way to the beach, so that was really great.
People want to be around a community of vibrant other businesses because it's nice to be around like-minded people. It's nice to feel inspired by what people around you are doing, and that all is like additive to your work environment.
As a startup company, we eat, breathe, and live Runway. we're very happy to call El Segundo home, right? Where you are is very important. So I think that now, there's more of a scene down here. I think the Silicon Beach, is a real thing. When you see that sort of, diversity of companies that are starting here, I think it just makes sense for, investors to sort of, have a keen eye on this area.
For a number of years, I was part of EDAC, which is a development advisory group that works underneath the city council. It was great to have a voice, and that there was, I think the city on the other side that really was listening to the things that we were putting forth.
The mayor actually came through our office. He was extremely receptive, extremely helpful, and I don't know of a lot of cities or mayors that, you have a new company starting, only 2-3 months old, where you actually come through and sort of, give that time.
Technology, media, entertainment, communication. There's a really vibrant sort of intersection of those areas, and I think it becomes this really exciting flywheel of growth.
One of the reasons that we were so excited about our project at the former Northrop facility, it just sits right on 2 of those Metro rail lines. We're seeing a lot in technology and media right now. So they want to be in great locations, they want to have places where people want to be, and El Segundo fits that bill.
I think El Segundo is really hot right now because of a number of factors. There's the city itself. It's a great city, it's its own city, it's not a part of anyone else. Mm-hmm. So they have their own environment, they create their own culture. Their departments, their people are wonderful that work at the city. Yeah. They're really a friendly community to work with. So from a development standpoint, people are really attracted to the community. It's also a city that's retained a lot of its historical roots. And so the types of projects we're doing, these creative campuses, people are really drawn to those types of projects. Geographically, the city's perfectly located between South Bay, Silicon Beach, Culver City, downtown LA, south of LAX. It's great from an access standpoint. It's central to Southern California. It just seems like a very logical choice. To be a beach community that you can connect to the metro and the freeways and get in and out of the area quickly, I mean, that's gold in Southern California.
It's great to actually hear from the business community rather than just us. So let's talk about, we're going to wrap it with new developments. This is really exciting. So we talked about the charters. It's going to be right over there, right over yonder at the former Raytheon site. Special thanks to Continental Development Corporation, Richard Lundquist, your entire team, Alan McKenzie and Mar Ventures for bringing this incredible facility to town. 270 employees and 85 athletes are going to be based right there. We also have Standard Works. This is a project in Smoky Hollow. Mark Tellis, I don't know if he's here, he's an incredible engineer turned developer. He's doing all kinds of really cool projects. This project is, I think, 80,000 square feet, and it's being leased by ABL Space Systems. ABL Space Systems happens to build some of the most important rocket propulsion systems based right here in El Segundo. 141 Eucalyptus, this is a proposed mixed-use development in our Smoky Hollow West area. Beautiful concept, love the building. We also have 212 Eucalyptus Drive. This one is 14,000 square feet of office space with a 3,400 square foot rooftop area. Isn't that a beautiful building? It happens to be mine, I'm sorry, shameless plug. But it is one of the development projects. David Balian, architect, great job on that project. Next up, Pacific Coast Commons, right here on PCH. We've never had housing before. This way, it's like that way, PCH, I think. We've never had housing before. We have the biggest housing project El Segundo has ever undertaken with 263 units and 32 which are affordable. Thank you again to CDC and Mar Ventures and your partners on this great project. We love that it's bringing affordability in El Segundo, and we thank you for embracing that concept. That's going to be huge for us. It's the first time, like I said, we have housing on PCH. 888 Douglas. You heard Michael Hackman of Hackman Capital talk about this project. This one is beautiful. I was in there for L'Oreal. I toured Beyond Meat when they were in their construction stage. I can't wait to go in there and see Darius and his team over there and Ethan and everyone at Beyond Meat. This is a beautiful building. It was a former Northrop Grumman manufacturing line, and they have done an amazing job. And Mike just told me last week at the L'Oreal opening he wants to do more. He wants to develop, they have options to do more, and they're going to be doing more at that facility also right there. Then we have Nash Street Exchange. This is right here, basically. It's, again, Continental Development, and I believe Mar Ventures. This is a great project. This is phase 1 of the 142-acre Raytheon project. We have a master development agreement with Raytheon. This is the first phase. It has restaurant, retail, and medical office. And we're so thankful to have Torrance Memorial here in town. Torrance Memorial, thank you. 65,000 square feet of space, which is urgent care. It's professionals, specialists as well. It's a great facility. I've been there already once for help. It's great. We also have Raising Cane's there, and other tenants are coming. 650 to 750 PCH. This is a former Boeing building, and the plans are unbelievable. Vela Group's doing this. They're going to repurpose it into a modern office campus site, which is going to include a 7-story building that's in development now. Moving on to 1950 to 1960 East Grand Avenue. This, by Artisan Group, is a proposed project to convert an underutilized parking lot, we love that, to a 96,000 square foot 4-story office building. Also incredibly beautiful. We love the direction of these concepts where they're going aesthetically. Next, we have Beach City's Media Campus. This is another Continental Development project. What's cool about this is Boston Properties. I think we have some Boston Properties people here. Yeah, they are huge on the East Coast. And then they're actually the largest commercial landowner, at last I talked to them. They're the largest commercial landowner in Santa Monica. They've now come to El Segundo, partnering with CDC. They love El Segundo. They want to do more. This facility is going to be amazing. Eventually, it's going to be 300,000 square feet. The first phase is 190,000 square feet with a 7-story building and the possibility of a production studio as well, right on Rosecrans. Great to see that one. We've been working also on the downtown specific plan to look at long-term outdoor dining, to reach out to the community to understand what they want related to downtown, and to make downtown even more vibrant than it already is. Some newcomers into town. Oh, we got applause. That's good. Oh, yeah, we got the restaurant owners, Eric and Elmira. If I didn't mention, Tapazon, newest Brazilian place in town, has a happy hour tonight, 4 to 7 p.m. Yeah, Bossa Nova there, right? Legit Brazilian Bossa Nova. Can't wait for that. Notable newcomers in town: Lady Gaga's House Laboratories at repurposed Plaza El Segundo. We converted some retail to office. Hyundai Motors, Varda Space, Belkin International. Really happened. That's a huge company that's been doing incredibly well. I know they partner with schools, Da Vinci and others. They've moved to El Segundo. Nant Studios, which is one of Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong's endeavors. He's been investing like crazy. Last count, I think he had 13 buildings here in El Segundo. He believes, obviously, in the city, and I wish he could be here today, but they are not necessarily going out into these kind of environments. Not that it's not safe. Everyone's safe. No one's getting COVID today. I'm just saying. Boomerang is here. CCM Astro, Rivian, and Torrance Memorial, which I already talked about. Retail and restaurant, Fogo de Chão, Japonica Sushi, Sauce Barbecue coming soon, I think this month. Tapazon, as I mentioned, Eddie V's, Little Sister, Cava, Northern Cafe, Dipped Ice Cream, Southwest Bread, A Tea Moment, and Capriati's, all recent developments. Great job, Team El Segundo. I want to thank some people. You've all been very patient. The comedy was awesome, wasn't it? Wasn't Kelsey great? I don't know if she's still here. Let's give it up for Kelsey. That added to the time, but I think it was well worth it. I loved when people laugh. I love to laugh myself. I want to thank some key people. Marcia Hansen, where are you at? She basically did this thing by herself. When I say did this thing, I'm talking about coordinating invites, table lists, sponsorship, one-person amazing show. Thank you, Marcia, for everything you do with the chamber. She's also the head of the chamber. Barbara Voss, where are you? Deputy City Manager. She has been, we're only on version number 9, so hopefully you liked it of the script. And she's done an incredible job. Thank you, Barbara, with all your department. Christina Rivelis, where are you? Also, incredible job putting this event together. Kristen Bergevin, where are you? Kristen, thank you for everything you've done. And our El Segundo TV media team is so fabulous. Darnell Jenkins is our lead. Darnell, where are you at? Darnell, thank you for everything you've done. Robert Settle, thank you for everything you do. Stevie and everyone else, Ryan, everybody else on the team, Egidio, everybody, thank you very much for everything you've done. You know, what makes a good city? I think it boils down to 3 things. This is what I came up with. I looked for a bunch of quotes. I found one from Aristotle that was somewhat interesting, but I chose not to use it. I said, I think it's like this. Engage residents and businesses. Do we have that? Check. A safe city. Do we have that? Check. And a compelling vision and leadership. Do we have that? Check. I want to thank you all for being here today. Thanks for all your time.